I'm going to hand it over to the lovely Miss Michelle Valencia, who's got the musings of tonight's show. Don't forget to tune in next week. We've got a bit of dub and a bit of tech and all things Beat Fair next Tuesday night. Keep it locked. Here's a kiss. Michelle on the mic next.
Right, so Paul.
Yes.
Hello, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Very well.
Great. I really enjoyed many elements of that set. So, yes, very nice, very nice. First of all, you produce under the alias Enclave, but also Cut Phobic.
Yes, Cut Phobic is a newer thing. More broken beat, dubstep, a bit of drum and bass, a bit of exploration along those lines. I remixed one of my first official release, Ironyism, under the Cut Phobic alias last year with a couple of other people helped me out. That was released under If Records, and I've currently got a drum and bass track that has been completed. That is due for release through If Records. That's also going to be remixed by Little Nobody and Coda, another Melbourne techno artist, and some friends of mine, illegal DJs, are also giving it a nudge. So it's a little bit of an evil sister to Enclave, so to speak.
Great. Well, tell me some artists that have inspired you.
I guess not coming from the traditional club background anywhere beyond sort of 98, 99 when I first started to get into electronica. I'd have to say originally Melbourne live artists like Honey Smack and Vitek. More recently, also Stacey Pullen was a very big influence earlier on, especially a couple of his artist albums really influenced me. He's very varied in the styles he can produce, and he's obviously a superb DJ and a veteran one at that. Coming into more recent times, I dare suggest artists like, Forward Strategy Group, Sandwell District, even the Surgeon obviously is not so much in recent times, he's a veteran as well. He's a very big influence, the way he can layer sounds. There's a number more I can reel off. Vince from New York, who records for one of the labels I record for, he's been a gigantic influence on me. And there's numerous Melbourne artists as well. I could reel off Bubble and Squeak, Machina. I could go on and on. But there's a few of them anyway, so yeah.
Okay. Another thing as well. What do you think about the word techno? How do you classify techno?
For me, I dare suggest techno might be something a little bit different to many other people's definition of it. For me, techno has always been a physical representation of sort of soundtrack music, or a very cerebral sort of soundtrack music. I really relate to it purely as being a dance floor type of scenario. I always need to have something in the music that takes my head somewhere as well. Whether we're talking about a true definition of techno or going a little bit broader than that, whether it be break tech, proper techno, deep techno, tech house, come what may. It is, I guess, it's a collaboration of two main elements. It's not so much rhythm and melody, which is what you'd ascribe to rock and roll music in a traditional sense. I think it's obviously rhythm, and I think it's also the exploration of sound that doesn't have a traditional structure, chords and verse and all that type of thing. So it's all about making melodies, so to speak, out of frequencies and resonance and things like that. So being someone who's never DJ'd but has always been in the drum machines since like the early 90s and so forth, and sequences and synths as well, I think it's just to summarise, a marriage of rhythm and sound design would be a good summary for me. That's how I prescribe it.
I like this. It's interesting where it's going today. Many people are calling a lot of different things techno. It's interesting, and where it came from and whatnot. So, yeah. How long have you been producing for?
Under Enclave, probably about 7 years. ironically, if you want to do a quick trip back in time, I played my first gig under the Enclave name in a warehouse about a kilometre east of here in 1995. It was more industrial. It was a backing track of drum machines and me playing a guitar through a Marshall amp. That rested after a while. There was, in the next 5 years, I gave up on my sort of rock and band mixing career and focused on working up this thing we call Enclave. But serious production-wise, probably about 5 years, and it's all come together in the last 2 years when Andres Bergen from If Records, who's an expatriate Melbourne producer and a veteran, gave me a bit of a heads up, and I will be eternally in debt because things have just snowballed from there. I've been releasing constantly ever since then for his label If, and his good friend Simon Nielsen from Electrax Recordings in Sydney, which is fastly becoming a very, very big label. So yes, I guess that's the answer to that. Yeah.
And is it? I've been saying Enclave. Is it Enclave? Or
look, I'm not overly fussed. Yeah, okay. Enclave.
Yeah.
Even when I hear it used on the news for arguably darker subjects, I hear two different pronunciations, so I'm not overly fussed.
Okay, yeah. Good. Also, if you don't mind, can you tell us a little about your creative process at all? Influences, inspirations for your sounds?
Generally speaking, I think I will try to start with, for want of a better description, a riff or a bass line. I do come from a rock background, so I try to sort of transfer that over into electronic, or it could be a simple beat, it could be a resonance or a sound patch, it could actually be just a beat, a break beat or something that has a little bit a resonance or something that suggests a mood. Generally I'll take it from there. I will always try to put a little bit of a pulsing type of bass line underneath it, and then know that I can move that in and out, and then think about scattering other sonics over the top of that. And eventually, as anyone who plays with hardware a lot like I do, you generally have to find a place where you have to stop, because you just overcook it and you get so involved, and you have to just say, all right, that's enough. It's going to descend into a bit of a mess unless I take a step back, separate what I need, throw out what I don't, and cut it from there, so to speak. So, yeah.
So you draw off of sounds. You start with a sound, and that ticks you onto the next thing. Or do you, for example, gather things from if you're out in the city, or go for a walk? Or it's everything.
I tell you what, I would. Interesting you say that. I would love to, because I do have a portable stereo recorder, which I do use sporadically. But I would love to actually commit myself to just take it out on a walk and get various sounds. Pardon me, being at traffic passing, people talking as they walk past me, or come what may, because that they're still actual real sonics, and they can be manipulated with technology back and forth endlessly. I do have a, like most of us I dare suggest in this game, I do have a reasonably overactive imagination, but unfortunately I do hear a lot of things in my head that I wish I could just sort of put down a tape at the time, but unfortunately I'm at work or I'm half asleep, so it doesn't quite work that way. I do take ideas that I try to remember, but it's generally in the moment. If I'm starting afresh, turn things on and see what happens, or if I've already got an idea on there, turn my studio back on and see what I can make of that. So yeah, but quite often it has happened when I've heard someone like shouting across the road or whatever else, and it kind of sticks in my mind, and I might try to be adventurous and try to recreate that in absinthe or something else. It's possibilities are endless, so I don't limit myself.
Okay, well, that's about it, I think. It was great. I'd love to have you back on again.
I'd love to come and play for you again. It was excellent.
Yeah. Or it would be great to do another set under Cut Phobic.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Just give me about 6 months or so, and I'm sure I can come back in here with a broken beat perspective. And I'd love to play a set for you again. It's been fantastic. That would be great. Okay. Well, thanks, Paul. And I'm going to hand over the show back to Tom. So, yeah. Okay. I hope you have a great night. Excellent.